Morning, everyone. I hope that y'all are happy to be there. I am currently in Vermont at my best friend Tina's house. The ambiance behind me is great. We have some good vibes here, so I hope the vibes there with the free coffee are rocking and you all are ready to just have some fun moving our bodies and get going. So take a seated position anywhere comfortable on your mat. Cross-legged, sitting up on something. It's great if you have blocks or anything to sit up. Roll up your mat. And we're just going to take this moment to breathe and come to where we're at right now. We talked about that. Deep belly breathing, really coming from your core. You can breathe from this point up, and by this point, if you have your eyes closed, I'm talking about the diaphragm up, or we can really get deep into the belly. Feel your hips on the ground. Thoughts come, thoughts go. Maybe anticipation of what's going to happen in the class. Maybe about what you have to do later in the day. You're showing up. You're here. That's it. Make your breath audible. Really fill up that belly. Tune into the energy around you as far as the community and the people we have together showing up to do the Swolga together. Couple more breaths here. Letting everything settle down into your hips. Noticing in your body where you're holding any tension. I'd say my lats from those toes to bars on our Core Crusher Wednesday. A little bit in the hamstrings for me from our deficit deadlifts. But everyone's doing something different, so tune in to where your body needs the attention. Two more deep breaths. Open your eyes, and we are going to take a moment to kind of open up and move the spine. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. Hands right on your knees. We're going to inhale, arch forward, pulling that chest through, drawing the shoulders down and back. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Inhale, rocking forward on your hips, coming into that arch pose, leading with your heart. Exhale, rounding back. Following breath and movement. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Having that movement lead right from your diaphragm forward, like a string pulling you forward, and then as if someone's pushing back, coming through the center, and just rounding forward. Keep that movement going. Come to center and we'll find just movement. We're going to move counterclockwise to start. So ribs forward to the left, coming back and rounding to your right leg and over your center. So we're just churning a little bit, just getting things moving. Inhaling around the front of the circle, exhaling around the back. Hips staying grounded on the mat, so you're maybe a small circle, maybe a very big circle. Just find what feels right for you with those hips staying on the ground. Pause at the center, switch directions, and circle through the opposite way. Circling to start on your inhale over the right knee, quad back into your seats, left and forward. Breathing, inhale around the front, exhale around the back of the circle. Find your center, wherever you're coming from. We're going to take our right hand and place it down on the mat next to us. You can use a fist or fingertips depending on where your body is. I'm going to be on my fingertips, feeling pretty tight through the side of my body. And we're going to lean into that right arm and lift our left arm nice and high up over that left ear. Keeping open through the side body, but also on the lower part to not crunch and fall into it, but stay lifted and rising through as we stretch through those left fingertips. Josie, you're good. You may say feet, see feet, walk in front, we're good. Everybody's here. Breathe. You can change your gaze if you want to stretch out the neck up towards that left hand. Exhale, find that left hand on the ground, switching sides. Left fingertips, fist or palm on the mat. Deep inhale, right arm up overhead. Staying open through that left side and really feeling from your hip up to your fingertips on that right. Take your gaze and look up towards that right arm. As I just found, relax your left shoulder. Your shoulder doesn't need to be an earring. Exhale to center, and we're going to flow a little bit. So, point your right hand out on the ground, and we're going to circle forward with our arm up to the side. And then we're going to swing that arm back through, placing the left hand on the ground, right arm comes swing through. Exhale, forward. Inhale, open up. Exhale, swing the arm through. Connecting and making that connection with breath and movement. Just as we take those deep breaths, just before we reach our max bench press or max deadlift, we're finding that breath and movement every time. One more each side after this. Coming to center, hands and knees. All right, so I'm going to turn sideways. We're going to be on our hands and knees to start. And I just want to have you step your right foot forward in between your hands. So if you step and you get caught, just grab right behind your calf and bring it up. And what we're going to do is bring our hands right up to our right knee, and we're just going to lean forward into that hip flexor stretch. When I'm here stretching into the pose, I don't want to dump all the way into my lower back. I want to keep my core engaged, keep nice and tall, chest lifted, and just stay upright with that upper body as I lean forward into the hip. You should feel this down through the left hip flexor. Hands on the knee, just kind of using a little bit of that pressure down to keep the chest lifted, but keeping that front belly zipped up so we don't dump into the lower back. Curl your back left toes. Reach your fingertips towards the mat. And we're going to sink back into our hips. So bring your hips towards that left foot as the right toes come off the mat. We're just going to stay in this high hamstring stretch. So you're just bracing yourself on that back foot, leaning back into it and feeling that stretch through the front leg. If you want and you're flexible enough, you can relax that back leg, sit back onto the heel and have those chest lifted. It's easy for us to round through, so chest lifted. And we're going to bring that movement back into it. So inhale, come up into the hip flexor stretch. Exhale, lean back into the hamstring stretch. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, back into your hamstring. A couple more here. Inhale, forward. And you can go at your own pace, finding that deep breath. Important to keep those hips running forward. One more, exhale back. Inhale, hands frame your right foot, right knee comes to the mat. Let's sit back into child's pose for a second, knees wide, feet together. Feeling the difference now between being have a little more freedom and that right hip. And we're going to carry on and continue to find that with our left. We want to stay balanced, stay even. Your next inhale, rise up to hands and knees, bringing your left foot in between your front hands. And then your hands up to your left knee, standing nice and tall. You can, if you find any tension through your lower back leaning forward, you can back out of it. So that way your hips right over your knee on your back leg. And then lean forward as you keep this belly engaged and find that optimal stretch right in your hip. Pushing down into that knee and staying nice and tall and open. Coming back to the deep belly breathing. Front knee should be behind your toes. So if you find yourself leaning into it like this, it's going to put some tension on your knee. So just make sure you're right where your knee comes down over your ankle. We'll curl those back right toes, bring our hands to our mat, drop those hips towards the right heel. And this is where I'm going to stay on this side. My hamstrings are pretty tight, so I'm going to stay pretty well propped up. You can drop that back foot flat. Just keep that chest forward and wherever you feel that nice juicy stretch behind your left hamstring. Hamstrings, quads, everything in play when we do those deadlifts, when we do those snatches, getting the bar up. We'll get to the upper back, shoulders, but we're here for the moment. 2 more breaths here. Hips square. Okay, we're going to inhale into that hip flexor stretch. And then exhale, drop back into the hamstring stretch. Inhale forward, chest leading. Exhale back at your own pace or my pace. Inhale forward. Exhale, hamstring. We'll run through this one more time. Inhale, heart, chest forward. Exhale, keeping that flat back. Hands frame the left foot. Left knee comes back to the right knee. Sit into child's pose. Let's warm up those shoulders by having your arms stretched out. I'm going to come up onto my fingertips when I'm stretched out, and I'm going to really try and pull those shoulders down and back and keep reaching so to open up that space between my neck and my shoulders. You're stretching, walking out with those fingertips, rolling and pulling those shoulder blades down the back. Look up towards your hands, come up to hands and knees, curl your back toes under, and just as we did before, take those hips and drive them back towards the ceiling, raising your knees off the ground and coming into downward facing dog. I like to keep a good bend in my knees first thing and just sit and push back into those hips, drawing nice and high. My feet are hip width apart, mat width apart, wider than hips. Knees are bent. I'm just really pushing back into those hips. Step your left foot towards the back of the center of the mat and bring your right ankle over your left calf. We're going to stay here for a little calf stretch. Not locking out through the left knee. Pushing down through your fingertips. Feeling that stretch through your left calf. Take that right foot off the back of the calf. Place it next to the left foot. Left foot wide, step the right foot center, and then place your left ankle over your right calf. Hey, Bentley boy. Hey, Bentley. Don't lock out through the right knee. Just really isolating that stretch down through your gastric medius, your calf muscle. Keeping this nice and open is going to help your range of motion and depth in your squats. We got some front squat max reps this week. Everyone crushed it. Feet wide as your mat. We're going to take a look up towards our hands and then just walk our feet to meet our hands in a frontward forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, hands to the floor. Slight bend in the knees, push down through the feet, flat back, arms wide. Raise up, and hands to the center of your chest. We're going to do some flow this time, pausing in between with some crescent pose. Just take a minute to breathe there. We'll make sure my computer's still running. Cool. All right. So we're at the front of our mat. I know you can't see the top half of me. I'm still here. So top half of your mat, hands at your heart. Feet hip width apart, so it looks pretty similar to this. Knees, ankle, toes in line. Nice deep breath in, arms up. Exhale, flat back, bend over the legs, keeping those hips back. Inhale, part way up. Exhale, step your right foot back, left foot to match, so you're in high plank. We're going to shift forward slightly over those wrists. Keep the shoulders back as we lower down into chaturanga. Everything hits the mat. Toes point in. Pulling back, out and up. We're coming into cobra. Pushing back through our hands, hips over heels. Child's pose. Inhale, we're going to step the right foot forward. Exhale, left foot to meet right foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, down. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Other side. Inhale, arms up, overhead. Bend in the knees, exhale, dive right over that front legs. Inhale, part way up. Exhale, step your left foot back. Hands planted, right foot to match, high plank. Shift those shoulders just over the wrists. Shoulder blades engaged, lower down, keeping those shoulders nice and elevated all the way to the mat. And then we're going to flatten those feet. Inhale. Stretch out through cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog this time. And then stepping your left foot toward your hand. You can do it in 2 steps. Help out the leg. Meet your right with your left foot. Inhale, part way. Exhale, down. Through the feet, push down to come up through the legs as we raise towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to add a stretch in between here, so inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we are stepping our right foot back, staying high. We're going to inhale and raise our arms up overhead. So I want, instead of coming forward here, to shift back so your hips straight down to the mat. Shoulders are relaxed. We can pull them up and wear them nice and high like this, or we can engage through the back, draw our shoulder blades down, and have our shoulders nice and relaxed. If your shoulders are tight, stay where you're at. I'm going to come down. If your shoulders are tight, you can take your arms out to goalposts instead of having them straight up and down. So your arms can be out here, chest leading forward through that. We're going to breathe here. We're going to take our hands down to our front knee, and we are going to turn the back heel to the ground. So just shift on the toes. Heel comes towards midline. So that back heel is at about, back foot's at about a 45 to a 90 degree. And we're just going to push into that front knee. Knee staying behind the toe. Trying to take those hips from the open position to leading more so over your front knee. Getting more into those hip flexors. Deep breath, staying nice and tall. Inhale and then exhale, push through that left foot. Turn your left foot towards center, so we're in a wide leg stance. We're going to do that measurement again, where you bring your arms out to your side, take a look. Wrists should be right over your ankles. You're going to inhale up, exhale flat back, come to a wide forward fold. And take our fingertips and walk them just forward, keeping the low back nice and flat and sitting back through those hips. So I'm pushing back through my hips, knees are slightly bent, and I'm just stretching out to lift my rib cage off my hips. One more inhale there. Exhale, come back. Turn your left foot to face the front of your mat. You're going to swing your hands around to frame your foot. Step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot to meet your hands. Left foot to your right. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, up. Exhale, step your left foot back this time. Bring your hands as you inhale up overhead. Good. Backing out of that right leg a little bit, coming nice and tall. What I like to do is kind of like a sequence. I start from my hips. I kind of round out to lift those back rib gauges. And then I keep that lift as I raise my arms. Relax the shoulders, ears in line with shoulders. A little more active in that hip. Big, deep inhale. Exhale, hands to that front right knee. Turn that left heel down towards the center line. So you're staying with that back leg, slight bend in it. Front knee you're pushing into as you turn your hips more towards the front of your leg. Hands using that resistance, pushing into your quad, towards your knee, and raising up. Breathing here. We're going to do that wide forward fold again. I'm just going to change spots. Just shift that right foot to face the long edge of your mat. Exhale, come forward into that forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Walk those fingertips forward. Keeping those hips as if you had a friend standing behind you, pulling back on your hips. You're coming into your, see how I almost fell over? Back into your heels. And then using that counter to stretch forward and really elongate that spine. All right, nice. Inhale up. We are going to, sorry for my bump, we're going to shift those hands right over your right foot, turn your right toes to meet the short edge of your mat. And this time we're going to step our right foot back to our left, shoulders over wrists, lower down into chaturanga, belly on the floor, feet flat. Inhale, high into cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Feet together, knees wide, hands outstretched. We're going to inhale, walk those hands back. We're going to stay up on our knees. We're going to grab the straps that I told Zach to have by your mat. So if you don't have them by your mat, Zach's fault. We're going to grab a hold of our straps and we're going to stretch out those shoulders. So I'm going to turn my back to you just so you can see what's going on behind me. We're going to take our strap in our right hand and we're going to bring our right hand up and behind us. So like a typical tricep stretch, but we're gonna bring that left hand palm facing out and grab a hold of the bottom of that strap. I inch my fingers and walk my fingers closer together, and I'm gonna stay nice and tall. If you can reach fingertip to fingertip, stay there. Keeping that nice stretch. And you may find that just breathing into this stretch, a little bit more open, walk those fingertips. Here, I don't want to round out. I don't want to be super arched. I'm going to engage that belly, nice and tall, stretching through my shoulders. Couple more breaths here. Release the left hand down towards your side. Release the right arm. Switch hands. Grab a hold of the strap. Your left hand, left arm behind the head. Right arm reaches behind, palm facing out, and you'll find that strap, using the strap as that stretching point, really opening up through that whole upper body. If you find yourself leaning forward into that neck, find your gaze straight forward. Ears by your shoulders, in a sense of like in a line straight up and down, not crunched. This will help with our range of motion in the upper body. Getting those overhead squats. Release the right arm, bring the left arm around, shift onto your right hip, and then swing your legs out in front of you. We're going to come down onto our backs. Lowering right onto your back, still strap in the hand. We are going to find a loop. And I know I have like a legitimate strap. Y'all probably have like the resistance bands, but that's fine. I can open it up to be similar to yours. So it's a long loop. I'm going to keep that left foot planted on the ground. I'm just going to sit up. I'm going to take that loop right over my right foot. I'm going to lay my upper body back, relaxing my shoulders, strap in the hand, both hands. Allow the foot to flex. We're going to find that stretch back through those hamstrings. This stretch isn't necessarily about how high you get it over your head. I want those hips rooted on the mat. And if you are so inclined, you can straighten that left leg. It's flat on the mat. If you're here with your stretch, good, awesome. Wherever you are, slight bend in that right knee, no hyperextension. Save that knee joint. Just breathe into the stretch here. Shoulders relax into the mat. Slight arch in the back, just a natural arch. Don't think too much about it. Take your strap into your left hand. So if you want to walk your hand a little higher up towards your toes, we're going to take that right arm and place it out next to us, palm facing up. And then we're just going to allow that right leg to drop over to the left. Using that strap, you're pulling your foot and hip towards your head region. It's not going to your head. That's not what I said. So you're just using that kind of resistance to get that nice stretch through your outer side, your outer hip. If you want, take your gaze over your right hand, so just turn your head to the right. Find that deep breath again. Inhale, back to center. Look, if you had your head turned, head back. Switch hands. So now your right hand's replacing your left hand out to the side. Actually, let's take our left hand and put it on our left hip. So that way when we drop our right leg out to the side to rest our elbow on the ground, we want to make sure that left hip is staying grounded. So I use that pressure down on my hip to make sure it's there. And then once I know I'm set, feeling that stretch on the right inner thigh, I can extend the left arm out. Different variations in this. We can lose a strap, grab a hold of our toe. My hamstrings are pretty tight, so I'm pretty far from my toe still. So I use that strap to still get the benefits of the stretch. Breathing here. Your next inhale, raise your leg back up towards the ceiling. Release the strap from the foot. Right foot finds the mat. Left foot comes back into being bent. And we're just going to turn our legs into a windshield wiper side to side. So if we're in this position, like we're going to come into a hip thruster, we're going to drop our knees to the right, keeping the feet where they are. Inhaling, come back across. Exhale, knees to the left. I call them windshield wipers. It's similar to going back and forth across the windshield of a car. Just releasing out through that lower back. Inhale up. Exhale over. I rest my hands right on my rib cage. Inhale up, exhale to the side. Inhale, center. I'm going to pause there. Switch sides. Take that loop of the strap. And we're coming over that left foot this time. Both hands on the strap. Hips, instead of curling up to get that deeper stretch, are just going to relax down onto the mat. My leg's going to find its place where it needs to be. Slight arch in the back. And I'm going to take that right leg and extend it forward. The computer is right in front of the kitten, so his name's Fisher, right?
Yes.
Name's Fisher. He's a new member to the family here, a new member to the tribe. This time, left hand comes closer to your foot, grabbing a hold of the strap. Right arm out to the side. We're going to do it a little backwards here, I realize that. Drop that left foot out wide. Hand can find that hip to make sure it's rooted down, and then find its way out. Feeling that stretch through the left inner thigh, foot flexed, elbow on the ground if it reaches there. Inhale, left leg comes back up overhead. Switch hands. Right hand grabs the strap, left hand out to the side. Right leg drops across the body, foot stays flexed. Arm uses a little tension to pull that leg forward. And we can turn that head so the gaze goes over the left arm. Should be feeling this stretch through the right outer hip, a little bit through the hamstrings. Deep breath into that hip. Inhale, bring the leg back up overhead, release the strap. Left foot to the floor, right foot meets the left. Let's bring our feet hip width or mat width apart and let those knees fall side to side. You can take your strap, set it anywhere around you. We won't need it again. Hands right on the rib cage. Back and forth, releasing through the spine. Find center. Walk your feet closer together and then take a hold of your knees at the center of your chest. Take your left hand to your right knee. Drop your knees over to the left. Right hand wide, looking towards your right hand. Slight arch through the lower back, drawing that chest up towards the ceiling. Deep breaths here. If you find you can't reach that belly breath, back off a little bit. I'm pushing down on that right knee. Allow for that space. Inhale, knees up to center. Exhale, switching side, knees drop over to your right. Right hand on top of your left knee, slight pressure down. Arch in your back. Left arm out to the side. Deep breaths here. Inhale, knees to center. One last hug towards your body. Set your feet on the mat. Straighten out that right leg, left leg. Feet fall open. Hands down by your side. Palms up. Close your eyes and rest into Shavasana. Soaking in, taking in the practice. Everything's relaxed. If you want to feel that breath, take a hand and rest it on your belly, and as you inhale, feel the belly rise up through the chest. Exhale down through the chest, rib cage, belly sinks in. Hand back out to the side and keep that breath. Your body, mind, soul, energy will all thank you for the practice you did today. Wiggle those fingers and toes. Roll onto your right side using that right arm as a pillow. Pause for a moment, moving nice and slow. Push down through that or left hand, coming up to a seated position. Hands to heart. Deep breath in. Exhale. Namaste. I know I'm only gone till Monday, but I love you all. I miss you, and have a wonderful day. If you're staying for the next workout, crush it. Get a new t-shirt. These t-shirts are super comfortable and awesome, and I'll see you soon.